Well, this is a different video than what was supposed to be going up today. But here we are. We're gonna push through, and I'll explain why. Hello, my name is Tatiana. I am a business coach, I'm a mentor, and I love to encourage women to go for what they want in their lives. I am in the middle of doing a series called Get Out of Your Own Way and Start the Stationery Business, and I have been sharing over the last couple of weeks how to get out of your own way realistically, with your mindset, with a lot of just the logistics that come with running a business, and then of course just deciding how to really come up with your process of creating your product and helping you start to make this thing that you've been thinking about actually happen in 2024. And so today's video is the fourth video of the series, but it was not part of my plan. That is because I was super productive and I recorded like 4 videos in advance, like about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I was feeling good, y'all, okay? Feeling good. 4 videos, keep that number in your head. And so I sat down to edit this video. Actually, no, I sat down to edit my video that was supposed to go up on Thursday, and I noticed, which it was a little bit last minute because I was done the night before, but procrastination, hey, you know, it happens. There was no sound on any of the clips, and there was nothing I could do. Oh, actually, I literally just panicked and I had to make sure that this video had sound as I was recording it because we're not gonna go down that road again, okay? So anyway, there was no sound on any of the clips, and it was not anything I could do about it. Basically, my camera has a situation where the microphone is attached, you plug it in, just like similar to how you would do headphones, and I guess it loosened up for some reason because it was in the midst of me filming the videos, and somewhere along the way it loosened up and I didn't realize it. And so 4 videos had no sound, and they were sit down videos for the most part. So it's not even like I could do a voiceover. It would just be like me talking over me looking like this. And so this is what I saw when I got ready to go edit my video for Thursday. An emphasis on saw because I didn't hear anything, okay? So then I panicked. I was like, oh my gosh, there was no sound. And so then I kind of was like, okay, well, there won't be a February reset video because that's what it was supposed to be. And then I kind of had a moment where I was like, okay, that's crazy, you know, whatever. And so I was like, well, let me go ahead and get started on the Saturday video, and I'll just do like a short or something for Thursday. So then I sat down again and I looked at it, and I've noticed that my video that was supposed to go up today for this series also had no sound. It was recorded before that other video, and then there was another video I had recorded after that also didn't have any sound. So with that being said, this is a different video today, but I feel like it is fitting, this subject, because no matter what type of business you're running, not even a stationary one or wanting to start, setbacks are inevitable. And I want to talk about it. I want to share some stories that I've experienced. I want to share some stories with you of things I've experienced over the years, how I was able to overcome them, give you some practical tips to help you, and really just give you that just mentor, friend vibe when it comes to starting a business and just keeping it real, because this is something that happens to all of us. Anytime we decide we want to make an impact, we want to do something different than we've done, we say we want to build a legacy, we want to make more money, we want to challenge ourselves, we want to try something new. Anytime we invite that energy into our lives, we are also inviting the inevitable lessons that come with that and just the overall setbacks. Okay, so I wanted to share some of those with you, and I think that this will actually be helpful because up until this point, what I've shared in the series, there can be things where you are already running up against things that are making you feel like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe this is a sign that it's not meant for me. Maybe it's a not right now, or, you know, whatever it is. And I think we need to stop looking at these setbacks, you know, these things that happen that we run into as it defining our entire journey, but instead let's just look at it like it is a piece of the path. It is just a little rock that we are passing as we continue to go on to whatever it is that we are trying to hit. And I think that helps when you change the perspective of, I could, instead of, like if that day, when I didn't have any sound, I allowed it to mess my day up. And I felt like the rest of the day had just that trajectory of, this is a bad day. Nothing is going right. Things kept going wrong. Even when I sat down to record the short for that day, it was like I was running into setbacks. I couldn't find what I needed to get my phone propped up. And it's just when we invite that energy in and we allow it to do that to us, then it starts to really hinder our overall journey of what we have planned, and we don't want that. So I just wanted to share a couple of just stories with you. Grab a snack. If you're driving, just listen. This is definitely could be a podcast. Shoot, probably will become a podcast, because I just want to share what are some of the experiences I've dealt with over the years when it comes to setbacks and how I've been able to get over them, and just give you some motivation if you are currently dealing with it, or to prepare if it comes your way. I have no notes for this. This is actually getting recorded the day that this video is going up. So this is truly just a genuine video of me sharing. So I think one of the main things is I have run into a lot of technology issues over the years. If nothing else, I feel like this is one of the big ones that happen. And I mean, my fair share of corrupted files, stuff just completely not working anymore with no explanation, nothing you can do, even after talking to customer service and, troubleshooting and going through all the forums for hours. I've had those experiences. And so I just want to kind of give a culmination of that, because they all really fit in they all really fit within this category of a setback, but the setback that usually is stemmed from technology, sometimes it can be avoided and sometimes it can't. So I think sometimes it's really easy for us to feel like, oh, that will take up too much of my time if I do that, or oh, I don't want to spend that extra couple of dollars, to make this happen. And so you'll see why I'm saying that in a second. So the one story I'll tell, so this was back probably in like 2019, I think. I had my website hosted on Bluehost and I had it on WordPress at the time. And if you have any background in that, then you will know that you want to make sure that your site is protected, because it wasn't under like a big company like a Squarespace or a Wix, or I have Show It right now. But those all kind of come with their level of security. But when you are kind of hosting your own site, you really have to be prepared for what comes with that security. And so I got away with it for many years, okay? They always ask you when you sign up for these different things, oh, do you want to pay for the extra security? And so I think it was something like a couple of bucks per month, y'all. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. And I always had just said no. I always opted out of it. And in 2019, I do not remember what even triggered me to know this was going on. All I know is my website was hacked from the back end. And so all of the files and everything, it had like all of this weird types of files in it. It was just like the strangest thing, y'all. I mean, several hours of me having to comb through them after talking to customer service, who was very helpful. Several hours of going through and deleting all these files. I mean, there were hundreds of them just embedded within like different folders of my sites. Like let's just say you have like a main folder for the site, and then every page of your site gets its own space. Every photo, every plugin, everything gets its own folder in the back end of your website. Like that's how websites are put together. They're put together in folders. And so every single folder had this why can't I think of the word right now? Basically, like the stuff that was hacked, like it had this script in there and stuff, and I had to delete it all. And it kept coming back too. So it was like I would delete it and then there would be more. So it was a very overwhelming task. And so what could have been a couple dollars a month turned into me then having to pay, I think it was like $30 a month. And not that that is a significant jump. I'm not even going to say it was. That was a significant jump for me, because my site, it was constantly being attacked. And so that was what Bluehost had recommended. They were like, yeah, we would definitely recommend this for you. It is very vulnerable. It was more than just like a change in a password type situation. And so what I learned from that is sometimes just pay for the extra security. Just do what you have to do. Change the passwords, update your things that you need to update. Even though it feels like it's a small inconvenience for you, think of the end result if your website got hacked. Think of the end result if for some reason you could no longer log into your stuff. So with that, a tip that I will give is if you have any type of platform, not even just a website, go do the two-step authentication. Set that up. I know people that have had their Instagram accounts hacked before. When you leave your stuff vulnerable, you are asking for someone to come. And especially now, people are very smart. They will get in your stuff, they will take over your stuff. And there are things in place that can help people, but save yourself that headache. Set up the two-step authentication. Rotate out and change your passwords. Make them strong passwords, not, anything super easy. Get the security on stuff if you need to. Regularly check your things and kind of have a little bit of a knowledge of what to look for if stuff is looking a little bit sketchy. But overall, just taking those extra precautions will save you so much time and energy, because just think of waking up and something that you have worked so hard on to build up and you no longer being able to access it and not knowing if you're ever going to access it again, or all of a sudden like this thing is just taking over your back end of your website and it's only a matter of time before your site is completely ruined. So just learn from me, okay? And I know a lot of these things for me, what tends to happen is it all starts with me it's that small inconvenience of that couple of dollars, or that few minutes to set something up, or that time set aside every week or every couple of weeks to do a task. But that is so much better than the heartache, okay? The heartache, because there were tears shed that you feel. Another situation like this was and I'll kind of insert a picture of what it looks like, but it was a big hard drive that I had set up, like an external drive, because I had a MacBook Air at the time, not a ton of space on there, and I was editing YouTube videos, I was doing sticker files, I had really large, just like InDesign, Illustrator, Adobe files, I was doing Photoshop stuff on there, like just not stuff you should be doing on a MacBook Air at all. And so I got the external drive because I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just kind of store some of my stuff on there. But one of the things that you have to remember about those is that it's really more so designed for a desktop. And a lot of times those are cheaper for that reason. You kind of just are supposed to leave them in one spot. You're not supposed to keep unplugging them, ejecting them and all that stuff. They really are meant to stay where they're supposed to stay. And so I knew this. I had worked at Best Buy, so I wasn't, like oblivious to this fact, but I worked from home, so it's like, and I had a very small child, so I like to go around to different rooms and I would take it carefully, and move it around, but it was connected to my laptop. I didn't have a desktop, so I was constantly unplugging it and different things. And long story short, one day I went to go on there to do some files, like all of the files that I have been working on, all of my sticker files. I'm just putting emphasis on this, all of my sticker files, a lot of my product images that I had taken, some of my files that I had designed of just like products on Illustrator and different things. They were gone because it would no longer connect to my computer. And they always say, make sure you eject it properly before you remove it. And so I tried my best to do that. There were some instances where it didn't happen. Maybe the computer was acting a little crazy. I had to restart it or just different things like that. Those messages matter, okay? Those messages matter. And it also matters that you're not moving that around. So now I have learned a couple of things from this lesson, because it's another setback. Again, imagine this is hours of work that I have put in designing these things that I'm currently selling, currently using on my site. I will never forget, there was one sticker kit that I had designed in particular, and all of the original artwork was lost on this drive. I had tried everything, y'all. I was in forums searching for hours trying to find answers, kept plugging it in, putting it in other types of computers to see if it would work. Nothing, y'all. Like, I literally exhausted all of my options, sick, crying, just all of the things. So now I have learned that it is better just for me, again, we gotta live and learn, to use like a solid state drive. So I use a very small one. I don't even have it right here with me right now, but it is so tiny and small. It's literally like about this big. And it is my baby. I have a couple of them. I can take them around with me wherever I go. They're made to eject, but it's the same thing applies still. Make sure you eject them, because you can still run into that same issue. Because when you just unplug it without the proper ejection happening, it does something to it. I don't know what the technical term is, but it slowly starts to make it stop working, okay? And then same, you still want to protect the cord. It's like a very small cord, but I still want to protect it. They are way more expensive, But again, it's like I would rather pay that extra money and have that peace of mind of knowing that this is going to work for me. Because even I had purchased like another drive, it was like this big. That one ended up crapping out on me as well. And that was another issue. So I've learned, you live and you learn. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and spend this extra $100 literally to get what I need. And I have had them for many years now since, and I have not run into an issue with them now. So that is a really big tip that I would suggest for you. A couple of lessons from this and just some tips. Make sure you are backing your stuff up on a couple of different things, especially something that means something to you, okay? So like even an SD card, this is another quick little example. An SD card, when I was doing my photography business, this was back, probably like, I guess this would have been 2017. I had did some photos for a friend of mine, and I lost the SD card, y'all. Like to this day, I have no idea what happened to the SD card. It was just gone. I searched everywhere. I retraced my steps. I checked my car. I checked all of my bags. I could not find it. And so I had to break it to her that her child's newborn photos would not be getting delivered to her. Luckily, it wasn't like a paying client, and it was a friend at the time, because I don't know what I would have done, but I learned my lesson again with that. And so all of these things are just situations where it is like, again, that was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. And now here I am heartbroken because of my choices not to back things up, because of my choice to just let stuff sit on the SD drive when I know it's important and I need to automatically to get it off of there and put it on something. So when you are designing things, making stuff for your business, taking photos, whatever the case is, as soon as you are done, even if it will feel inconvenient, there's going to be times where you feel like, man, I don't got time for this. Take that extra 5 minutes and back it up on something else. Put it on your SSD drive, put it on your Google Drive, your computer, like put it somewhere, okay? And even a computer, I feel like it's not always the safest thing. I think it's always good to have stuff on at least 2 places, because something can happen. Your computer could just stop working. And I have had experiences with that where like my computer stopped working and I had to actually reset my computer from the beginning, which means that everything that was on there would be wiped off. I've had a lot of these things, hard lessons I've had to learn, and I'm sure you all have experienced them in some way or another where stuff just don't work, okay? So back your stuff up, but do it in a timely manner. Do it in real time versus it becoming like a huge project where now you have to sit down and it could take you days or weeks to get all your stuff backed up and organized into folders. Come up with a process now of how it's like, okay, if I design these sticker files, I don't want them, because this has happened to me too. There is a library where you can save all of your files on Silhouette's library. That happened to me as well. All of my sticker files gone, y'all. Gone. And I don't remember exactly what the reason was, because this was some years ago. And it wasn't anything to do with them. It wasn't a customer service thing. It was something with my computer. I think it was my computer. I think I had to like delete it. Something weird happened and it was no longer there. So it's just that same feeling of where it is so much work you put in, like with the videos that I recorded. You put all of this time in. So save yourself. Back everything up in at least 2 places, okay? So it could be on the original thing you did it on, but have it somewhere else as well. And try to do that as quickly as you can, because stuff just happens. Things get lost. Things stop working. Things just have issues. And the last thing you want to do is put in all of that time and effort to then sit down to get ready to use it or whatever the case is, and it is no longer available to you. And you are looking crazy like, what now? And there have been so many times I've had to remake things again. And so that is a setback that a lot of people don't talk about. It's a setback I haven't talked a lot about, but it happens and it is very frustrating. And it is one that will bring you to tears. It will make you feel like, why am I doing this? This is not even worth it. I give up. And you think about all of that time that you put into it, all of the mental load and all of that. And it can be very easy to let that tear you down. But I am here to tell you, if you are running into those issues and you have, let's say you've surpassed the opportunity to do it in advance, back it up and be proactive. I promise you, just take a day to breathe. Take a day to step away from it, because it's okay to be angry. It is okay. And then come back and come up with a plan of action. Whether you have to remake it or you can pivot and do something else, it just depends. But do not allow that to stop you, okay? This is only going to continue to just build your stamina for the things that are to come, because there's always going to be something. And it's unfortunate, I think of like all of the stuff that has happened with these technology things over the years, but it has only made me a better business owner. It's only made my bounce back game stronger, And so this video is an example of me not having sound on 4 videos, and I had my moment. I cried a bit. I was upset. I really most of that day I was pretty upset because, as a mom and just trying to balance everything. I'm a homeschool mom, so my daughter's home with me all of the time. My husband goes to work. And so when I have those pockets of time to work on stuff, my time is valuable. And when something like that happens, I think about how much time was lost, And so I really sat in that the other day and was just like, I cannot believe that I did all of that work, and now I can't use any of the footage. But y'all seeing these clips, okay? Y'all gonna see these clips throughout, okay? It's gonna have some use, okay? But yeah, so that's just another lesson. Hopefully some of those tips helped you. But yeah, come up with the process early on of how you can back things up, and just overall how you can organize your files and stuff, just where everything has a place. Because I can't tell you how many times over the years I would be looking for stuff and I'm like, where did I save this? And I'm searching. I'm like, oh, it could be in Google Drive. Oh, it could be on my drive. Try to have a process of where things are placed, so whenever you are looking for something, you're not wasting your time, because your time is valuable as well. And you're not wasting your time just trying to find where you put it, or, naming your files, how you name the file. These are all things that save you time, and time is really important. So that's just a tip of mine. Everybody will do this differently. It'll look different for us all. I don't have a specific way of like, put this here and save it as this and do that, because that's going to be specific to you. But the main thing is to be proactive in that and start thinking of that early on, especially if you haven't started yet. Or even if you have, think of how you can really start on a fresh note of where things go and how they are going to be backed up, and how you're going to be proactive in making sure that stuff is safe, just overall. So I guess the second half of this video of just what I want to share is one of the other major setbacks, which can actually just feel like failure. And that is failed launches, not getting sales, not hitting your numbers, the goals that you have. Because again, it's that time and energy put into something. It's that you committing and it not going the way that you planned. And again, it leads to that heartbreak. It leads to you feeling like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. And I just wanted to speak that. Oh, it's the motivation app. Let's see what it said, y'all. It says, oh no, did I close out of it? Okay. Your speed, they keep trying to get me to upgrade. I'm not upgrading. Okay. Your speed doesn't matter. Forward is forward. Keep taking those small steps and you'll surprise even yourself with your amazing progress. Okay. Motivation. Come through with the motivation though. This was a good one, and it actually fits what we're talking about right now. So it's this app, it's called Motivation, and it just pops up randomly, y'all. I don't think it's ever like a specific time. It just pops up with just different quotes on my phone. I love it. But yeah, so let's talk about that, because I think it's important for us to realize that things are not always going to go according to plan. We can do everything by the book. We can talk about our product. We can share our heart, our story. We can show up. We can have a countdown. We can do all of the things. We can have a PR team in place. We can do literally everything. We can have the following, and stuff can still not go how we expected it to. I've had launches that have surpassed my expectations, ones that I've cried of just how happy I was to just feel the support and the love of God in that situation, and the support of those that have just purchased over the years. And I have also been brought to tears and experienced just that shame around, why is nobody buying this? Is this not valuable? Why am I doing this? I have had my fair share of both. I think even more so sometimes it's the latter of the two. And I think it's important to just remember a few things is that, especially, and I'm speaking to my solopreneurs with this, when you are a solopreneur, you are doing so many roles. And I talked about this in one of the past videos in this series. And because of that, it is hard to have on your marketing, social media content posting hat, whatever you want to call it, but then also have on this hat of trying to be the CEO of your business. And then you have on this customer service hat. And then you're also trying to like be innovative and think of ways to continue to get your business out there. And then you're trying to be analytical and like looking at how everything is working and, what's bringing in income. You are doing so much as one person. And because of that, it leads to there being gaps, like launches are so much energy. And there are some where I'm really good about ahead of time. Like I planned out all of the content. I have all of the emails ready to go and I have everything ready to go. And a lot of times those launches tend to do better because then I'm able to have my mental energy in real time to be able to show up and do whatever I'm doing. And this is with any side to my business, whether it's a physical product or a service or some sort like that, like a course or whatever it is. But when I am kind of like trying to launch in real time, as I'm feeling it in real time, the capacity level is just different. And you have to just remember that you're a human. And so I'm saying that because sometimes that can lead to you cutting corners when it comes to showing up to post. Or you may just not really have the energy to do things because you're just feeling all of the feels of like, this is launch week, or I have like a lot of last minute things to do. So I just encourage you, first off, that you are not a failure and your products matter. What you are doing matters. We all have to learn these lessons of, just putting our time in and sometimes not getting that return, but looking at it as, okay, how can I use this experience to help me learn what to do better next time? And so anytime I've had a failed launch, which I'll tell a quick story about one in a second, but anytime I've had a failed launch, I'm able to look back and see, okay, well, what did I do differently this time? Or what changed? What is something that I missed? And more often than not, I'm able to learn from that, and then I try to do it better the next time. And I have actually 2 podcast episodes that I recorded about the mental load of launching. So I'll be sure to have those linked below. It's the Inspire Blueprint podcast, which I'm hoping I can get back to one day, y'all. Life be crazy, okay? But it was a good one. It was a good 2 to listen to just because it'll kind of help you a little bit more even with this topic. But more often than not, I have been able to use those experiences and I'm able to see how I can do it better for the next time. And I allowed myself that time to accept like, wow, I did not hit the goal at all. Nobody bought this. There was crickets, and then I have to realize like, okay, well, let's assess the situation. And I ask myself very real practical questions. I'm like, okay, did you really talk about this enough? Did you actually give this some thought the way that you needed to give it some thought? Was this a need for people? Was this something that I felt was a need, or was it something I just randomly decided to do out of nowhere? And sometimes I'm a person like that. Like I know I speak about launches, but sometimes there's things I'm like, oh, it would be cool to do this. And I'll just like throw it out in the newsletter real quick. And then I'll be like, oh, no one is signing up for it, And I'm like, well, girl, you only sent it in one newsletter. What you expected? You didn't even talk about it at all on anything else. And so it's like just really having a pep talk, getting real with yourself. It doesn't take away from me still feeling a certain way, but a lot of that comes from the comparison of what I see of other businesses. So if I'm seeing somebody else's business and like they just announced something randomly and all of a sudden they're like, y'all, thank you so much. Like hundreds of y'all just purchased. We're getting all of the items out to you, or hundreds of you guys just signed up. I can feel very much like a failure, when I'm looking at those other people. But you have to remember, we have no idea what other people have going on in the background. If people have teams, that means there's a lot of people working, for hours trying to get this stuff set up. And this person is able to just be the face and just be in the moment. And they're not doing all of that back end stuff. So just keep that in mind, that when you look at these other businesses, whether they're bigger or whatever the case, they've been doing it for a while, you live and you learn, and you have to understand that your capacity can be very much tied to how the success of a launch goes. So really try your best for the tips. Just really try your best to do things in advance as much as you can. Like if right now you're thinking like, okay, I want to launch a planner this fall. This is me telling you, I'm looking directly in the camera right now. This is me telling you that right now, today, if you're watching this video in the month of February and you're in 2024, this is your time to start already thinking about the product right now. Start getting those quotes. Start getting everything in line to figure out when you will have your product in hand. Get that time frame, okay? And then following that, you need to start already be building up an audience now. Don't wait until the fall. Start building up an audience now. Show up online now. You don't have to have your product yet. Start talking about the things that matter to your audience. Start building up your email list now. Because this is the type of stuff that will help you when that launch day comes and you actually have people on your wait list because they've been rocking with you since the beginning of the year. You have people that purchase within the first hour of your stuff going on sale. This is what leads to that. When you are obedient in that, you're consistent in it, but you are really giving yourself the time to do it. I'm a procrastinator at heart, y'all, okay? I am. But when it comes to these things, you really have to take some time to really think them out because I have seen what happens when I don't. And there's been some cases where I've been shocked where I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't really have to do much. But typically, you really do have to put in a lot of effort. And so I want to just tell just a couple of random stories about this and just overall share with you. So one of the big things for me, like over the years, I have done like Black Friday stuff, that whole Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend and everything. And it just never goes the way that I hope. And so even this past year did not go that well for me. I did not get a ton of sales. And I really felt I was in my feelings about it. I was just like, okay, like all these other businesses are, selling out. I saw people that had like thousands of orders and I'm like, man, can I just hit my goal, And I really was feeling some type of way about it. And this has happened in past years with those sales as well. And it happens, y'all, and I think with Black Friday too, it's kind of a long game in some ways because for me, this last year, I feel like most of the year, I really did not show up in the way that I typically do, especially with my product side of my business. And so I really had to sit down and ask myself, I'm like, okay, you really just came back on the scene consistently about a month and a half ago. And I had to really think, I'm like, sometimes people will really have to have quite a few interactions with a business to know if it's something that they want to purchase, right? They need to know about it. And so me just kind of coming out of nowhere with my planners and stuff the month before, and then running these like random sales for a week and all of that. It was great. I did get some sales and I'm so grateful for everybody that purchased because I was so grateful, but I didn't hit my number, And so I think with that, I had to have an honest conversation with myself about consistency, things I would tell someone else. I'm like, okay, this last year overall, it just did not go the way I planned. Like it was so much life happening that I just allowed it to affect my business in a lot of ways that I typically wouldn't. And I had to be real with myself about that. It was one of my lowest years just income wise in general because we were moving across the country. I was dealing with just the mental toll of what all of that meant, having to adjust, having to start over somewhere new, leaving our life there. Like there was a lot of emotions around that and it just was way more than I was expecting. Just a lot, and so sometimes life can be the thing as well, but it's important for us to understand, like, I'm still here, right? Like, I'm still showing up. I'm still sharing with you how to start a stationery business, how to stay consistent and show up for yourself because it's a muscle that has to be constantly worked. But at some point, our muscles have to rest, right? Sometimes our muscles need a break. Sometimes you might have an injury and you got to recoup and come back. And that has just been my entrepreneur journey. And I think I have actually a story time about this. So I'll try to find the video. If I can, I'll link it in the description. But I've had like a failed planner launch. This was back in 2019. So many things happened with that, y'all. It was literally, where do I even begin? Basically, long story short, I had a planner that I was trying to launch and I ordered the binders for the planner from a vendor off of Alibaba. And so it was like these really pretty little binders that I had gotten. I had gotten a couple samples, and my shipment got lost when it was supposed to be coming to me. And if you have ever ordered anything from Alibaba, you know this stuff takes a while anyway. So before you can really get like a true tracking on it, it'll already kind of be coming to you, but then it takes a minute for you to get tracking. To this day, I have no idea what happened to that package. I was able to get my money back, which that was good. But yeah, I never received my package. I don't know what happened. And I didn't get any sales either. So I ended up just pulling the whole thing. I did do some promoting for it, but not nearly enough and I knew that, but it was just something I kind of was like, I said I was going to do this. I'm going to do it. And I pushed it, and I just don't think that it was done the way that it needed to be done. And then the following year, I did it again, and I did wonderful. So it happens, even just on a day-to-day basis. I mean, like, I go many days without getting sales. And I know but I tell myself, I'm like, well, girl, you're not posting anything about your products. It's like, well, what are you expecting? Like, people, you have to stay top of mind. And so this is just something to really think about, when you are doing this, unless you have some ads working for you on a consistent basis that are constantly pumping out information about your products, or if you have a person or a team that is helping you to constantly post and show up online, it is all on you. Okay? And if you decide that you're not going to post today, if you decide that you're not going to show up, or if you're not feeling well and a week goes by and you haven't done anything, then you are committing to the fact that you are not going to get the sales probably that you're hoping for. And this is just the reality. So in all, it's a little bit of like a tough love on me, myself, but for you as well. If we want to see certain results, we have to be willing to show up in a way that we've never shown up before. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable and be willing to promote and sell and give value and talk about it. Put your face out there. All of the things that we would rather not do. As much as like I love this channel and I love my products, I would much rather be sitting in the background, just kind of watching it all unfold. I really would. But that is not what leads to this path of getting to those sales and selling out and, hitting all those numbers and like, seeing those pictures where all these people have packages and they're just laying in the packages. Like, there's some consistency behind that. There is a lot of effort, and we don't see either, which I want to talk about. We want to go viral. We want to do all these things. Think about what that comes with, Think about your product specifically that you are making. Are you ready for that capacity of orders to come in? If all of a sudden you have a video that goes viral and now you just got 150 orders, are you ready for that? And so that can even get you to start thinking of, how can I have my systems in place now to be prepared? If this is something that you are praying for, hoping for, know that you want to be ready for that, because you don't want that virality or those sales to then be a hindrance to you, and now you kind of have like a sour taste in people's mouth because they didn't get their stuff on time, or you ran out of something, or whatever the case is. It's human experiences, things happen, but these are just things to think about in the slow period, in the time where maybe you're not getting the sales that you're hoping for, in the time where you feel like the launch failed. Think about, oh, I want this big success, but like, would I even really be prepared for this? A time where this happened for me was back in, was it 2020? I think it was 2020. And was it 2020? I'm trying to think, y'all. Stuff to be running together. No, it was 2019. Towards the end of 2019, I had the most success in like my subscription box because I had worked with Lisa McClan. She's an influencer at the time. I don't know if she does so much with planner stuff now. I'm not sure. She might still. But I'd sent her some of my stuff. People found out about me from that. And then I got interviewed on, at the time, her channel was called Email Shell Plans. I was interviewed on her channel. And so both of those opportunities just brought me like a ton of people. Okay. A ton of people. And so my box went from having like just like a really nice little amount, something comfortable for me, where I had like a cap every month, and that cap was extended because all of a sudden I was like, whoa, okay. So I sold out of my box. It was like 2 or 3 months in a row where I sold out because I had surpassed the cap and I only had a certain amount of products that I ordered. And so while that was my dream and that was what I hoped for, and I was so thankful to everybody, and I sat in that and I was excited and so proud of myself, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work because a lot of my box was handmade, and so there was a lot of late nights. There was a lot of just having to push through when I wanted to just sit down, because I had a very small child. Emery at the time was just a little over 1 year old, and I really had to hustle, okay? I really had to come out of myself and do things that I wouldn't normally do, staying up super late. I'm not a night owl, in order to get these boxes out to people. And so those are things you have to be ready for as well when we think about all of this success and stuff that we want. Well, that leads to some effort on your part that you may not even be thinking about. And even though I knew that it would come with that level of preparation, in the past I was typically kind of like, okay, I have box prep week, I'm a procrastinator, remember that? So I was like, okay, cool, I'll get to it. There was no room for procrastination. So I had to do things I wouldn't normally do to make sure that I wasn't setting myself back, and then now the boxes weren't going out in the time frame that was promised. So that's what I'm gonna leave you all with. I have loved this journey of running my business. I've loved this journey. I have not so much enjoyed those setbacks, but I will say that they have made me a better person. They've made me be able to come on and be a mentor to others and really share it in confidence, knowing that it's not the end. Just knowing that if anything, it only propels me to keep going and allow me to show up better next time. And so for that, I am grateful for the setbacks. I'm gonna say I'm grateful for the setbacks and the challenges. I'm not saying come on, I'm not welcoming them, but I am grateful for them because they give me this, to be like, no, I'm not gonna let the devil stop me. I'm not gonna let this stop me from my calling, my purpose, the thing that has been placed on my heart. I am not gonna allow. No, my camera didn't just stop recording in the middle of me giving my full motivation for the end of this video. If you made it to the point in this video, say, not today, okay? Not today. We're not going to allow this to stop us today. But what I was basically saying is that do not allow these setbacks to stop you from the bigger purpose, the bigger why. Always remember that your obedience is unlocking someone else's potential, okay? It is helping someone else to see a better example, to help them with a struggle they're having, to give them the motivation that they need. And even though you feel in the moment like, man, this sucks, and it does, there is so much more to it. So that is all I wanted to share with you. I will be back with the regularly scheduled programming next Saturday. I will make sure that my microphone is plugged in properly, and we will hopefully not have this problem again. But all in all, I just appreciate you all being here. This is just such a fun platform. I love it here on YouTube. I really, really, really love it here on YouTube. And I appreciate you that tune in. So many of you watch to the end of the videos, which makes me so grateful. And I love the comments that you leave. If I don't get a chance to respond, I just want you to know that I see you. I'm so appreciative of you. I am rooting for you. I'm praying for you. And I am truly hoping that this series is helping you to unlock your potential and understand that this is possible for you. You can make this happen, but it does come with its level of hard work and just getting through. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.